You probably know about this build already if you spent any time in Trials last weekend, but if you didn't and you don't know what I'm talking about, just know that Bungie themselves have decided to directly nerf how effective this build will be. Of course, I'm talking about the speaker side Khvostov build, which is just so stupid. Like, the clips I'm showing you right now are just me doing very basic things. Like, this is not a build that requires a high level of game knowledge or game sense or mechanical aim or anything like that. This build has a very simple activation loop, has a very simple way to chain it, and honestly just requires you to play smart and play aware. Now, I don't know when Bungie are going to patch the main functionality of this build, so if you have any inkling of going into PvP this weekend, this build needs to be high up on a list of things to try. Hi everybody, I'm Ascendant Nomad, and welcome to my new home in Northern Ireland. Please excuse the appearance, all of my stuff just came in. I promise I do not have a BDSM kink. The plastic is just to protect the bookshelves. Right, so what's made this build so effective? Essentially it centers around Khvostov, and Khvostov has apparently been introduced to the world in a bugged state, whereby it is severely reduced recoil, very easy to use, and the ricochet round performance is simply out of this world. And if you want to see just how crazy Khvostov actually is, check out the video I made on it some time ago to see the exact details. In depth, of course, not just vibed off the top of my head like this video is. And obviously people have picked up on how good Khvostov is. Trials Report had a statistic from last week that nearly 1 in 4, or 24% of all kills, were from Khvostov. And from a personal perspective, I don't think it's because Khvostov is super broken, it's just that it's so easy to use, and so easy to use really well. But what made Khvostov go from, oh, that's annoying, to, oh, I really hate dealing with this weapon, was this build that people were running. Now I'm going to show you right now how it's all set up, and then I'm going to run into a game where I basically walk through the exact playstyle and loop that you want to be concerned about. This is very much a build that works best for 3v3 game modes. In 6v6 it can do, but because of the functionality of speaker side build, you're going to have a little bit of a harder time getting that to activate, and I'll explain why. Now, of course, none of this works without the gun. Basically, the perk that we're building around is Eyes Up Guardian. Collecting orbs of power strengthens this weapon's next several ricochet shots, allowing them to bounce between multiple targets. And when you have this, the gun doesn't just, have greater ricochet damage, it also goes from a 0.8 second time to kill to a 0.7 second time to kill, assuming you stay on target. 8 crits required to get the kill. So people saw this functionality and they were like, right, well, let's have it then. Collect orbs of power. Let's do what we can to build orbs of power. And the Lost Voice. Healing grenades spawn a restorative turret. Healing allies occasionally spawns an orb of power. Healing grenades spawn a restorative turret. So not only are you getting healed, but then you have this little orb that heals you continuously, which is really handy if you put it behind a piece of cover. And basically you can peek, shoot, take a bit of damage, come back in, get restored, go again. And the other team is still regenerating ammo or still trying to figure out how to read you, basically. And you're throwing off that cadence because you're coming back out with full health or near full health. And then healing allies occasionally spawns an orb of power. If you just heal a teammate, you get an orb of power, or sometimes you get an orb of power, and you're basically banking on that happening more often than not. Now, I said this is going to be better in 3s than 6s because a key functionality of this build is healing allies, right? And in 3s, people's positions are a little bit more predictable. They're a little bit more focused, a little bit more secure. Obviously, if you play solo comp or you play solo trials and you have 2 teammates doing completely different things, this build isn't going to work all that well for you. But generally speaking, in 3s, most people seem to have an idea of what they need to be doing, i.e. playing their life, which makes finding them and healing them a little bit more predictable. In 6s, there is no such instinct for the vast majority of players. They are playing their own game, you'll heal them once, and then they'll go off into the distance to get killed. Unless there's a power position or a zone or something like that, it's very hard to get this going in 6s, but in 3s, you're going to see a lot more uptime for it. Let's talk about the subclass setup real quick. I've gone with Prismatic, although you can definitely do this on Solar Warlock as well. I prefer Prismatic because it has Penumbral Blast, possibly the best melee option in the entire game, because it's an instant no. What's that? You want to Thunder Crash me? No. Spectral Blaze? No. Loving Marriage? No. Drake trying to come back at Kendrick? No. This will handle everything for you. And it just adds another dimension to this build that makes this a very scary prospect to play against. For super, I've gone with Nova Bomb because of the multi-kill potential, for the team wipe potential, for the shutdown potential, and because it's just morally correct to run Nova Bomb. I'm going with Phoenix Dive for the lower cooldown. And the reason this is so important, not only is it important from a 3v3 perspective to get your healing up as quick as possible, to always have that healing up as much as possible, we are also running the Hellion aspect with this build as well, where when you activate your class ability, you summon a solar mortar orb, sort of like a little solar buddy that lobs flaming projectiles at distant targets. This is one of those small little details that makes for a very, very frightening package when you're playing against it in threes, because it's just another source of damage. Movement tool, this is dealer's choice, but I've been going on blink because, again, blinking is morally correct and also really difficult, but that makes it morally correct. Penumbral Blast we've already talked about, and then we have Healing Grenade, which is the core of why this whole thing works in the first place. And Lightning Surge isn't just here because it's the last remaining aspect here that makes sense for PvP. It also gives you that zoop melee, that ranged melee from afar, that again adds another layer of dimensionality to your gameplay, to your playstyle, to the sort of things you can pull off using this build. It's kind of nice. Now, first fragment. Faceted Purpose. When I pick up an Orb of Power, because I'm running Nova Bomb, I'm going to get an Overshield, which inherently gives you 40% damage resistance, which is really, really nice, especially in threes. Healing teammates were picking up that Orb of Power, and so we challenged them with an Overshield before we've even done anything. That's pretty silly. Now, Facet of Solitude. This admittedly does take a while to proc, but it does work, and it does reduce their outgoing damage. I don't have the exact percentage on me. If somebody knows that in the comments below, feel free to let us know, but it does have an effect. Next, we have Facet of Grace, which is just a nice fragment to have for any build revolving around a kinetic weapon. Now, the next three are completely optional, but I think you may want to consider them. The first one is Facet of Command. This is just basically based off Penumbral Blast. We don't need weapon stability, we don't need more aim assist because it is Khvostov. Basically, when we kill something, it'll leave a little shard there, help us get our melee back a bit quicker, which is nice. Now, building into that, we have Facet of Dawn. Powered melee hits against targets makes you radiant. Yes, this build does have radiant orbs, and I'll show you that in a second, but in PvP, you're not going to have that orb up all the time. So this is just another way of getting that damage boost in case you haven't got it in a while. And finally, we have Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability recharges more quickly. Basically, we create that Orb of Power, we get that Overshield, and our Phoenix Dive comes back a little bit quicker, which is nice. Now, moving into the build itself, it's pretty straightforward here. Nothing all that crazy going on. Kinetic Siphon, rapid kinetic final blows, create an Orb of Power. Probably not going to happen all that much, but if it does, hey presto, there's an Orb of Power for you. On your arms, you're going to have Focusing Strike. You can see there's a lot of stuff already in this build that's leaning towards getting your class ability energy back a lot. Unflinching Kinetic Aim, just got double of those on. You basically choose whatever you want to have here. This is dealer's choice. And in the legs department, we have double innovation basically. So if you have time to pick up an Orb Power, you'll be able to get your Healing Grenade back a little bit quicker as well. And then in the class items, we have Bomber and Reaper. This is the real juice of it. This is why we've been so focused on getting our class ability energy back up. Phoenix Dive before nearly every fight you can, kill the person, and get that Orb Power. And then just to take advantage of that, we have Double Bomber going on, where it says reduces your grenade cooldown when using class ability. So everything is in service of getting Phoenix Dive back as quickly as possible, because when you Phoenix Dive, this is what happens. You're going to proc the activation condition for Reaper, which basically says, okay, kill now after your Phoenix Dive and you'll get an Orb of Power. That's great, because when you collect that Orb of Power, you'll get reduced grenade cooldown, which allows you to throw your healing grenades out a little bit quicker so that you can continue to spawn Orbs of Power, which then allows you to have Kinetic Weapon Surge up as much as possible, as well as Font of Vigor. This is, again, kind of a dealer's choice mod. It's totally up to you. This is totally extra, and I decided to put this towards my Penumbral Blast because my Penumbral Blast has a cooldown of 1 minute and 41, which is an eternity in PvP. Let's have a look at the artifact mods that are relevant. First up, we have Elemental Siphon. So if you do get that double kill with the Khvostov, not only will you get that Orb of Power from the Kinetic Siphon mod, you also get a Void Breach that you can go pick up, which will then reduce your class ability, your Phoenix Dive. The next one on the list that's very, very important is Radiant Orbs, which I think all of you know by now is pretty much essential for every single build in both parts of the game. And then Shield Crush, because this does work in PvP too. Picking up an Orb of Power will give us increased melee recharge and increased grenade recharge. And that's the build, basically. I hope that was concise and understandable. I hope that all made sense. If it didn't, let me know. I'm happy to clarify anything. Let me show you now the actual order of operations here. Okay, so we're loading into a comp game now, just to show you a demonstration of how exactly to get this playstyle going, what sort of actions you need to take, how to get the loop going, and just seeing how all of the different pieces come together. Obviously, this is PvP. The ability uptime is nowhere near as crazy as PvE, but as long as you do the basics right, you stay alive, you play with your teammates, you'll find that this build will be actually pretty effective for amplifying everything good about doing the good. Okay, dissonance it is. So first things first, go straight to mid, because that's just the thing people do. Go straight to mid and figure out what's what. Everybody's going to be coming through this doorway, so I'm hoping it's going to heal somebody, get that orb of going. Not quite yet, because remember, it's an occasional heal. There you go, there's that orb. We're in business. Hellion going. We have somebody who is very keen, I think, on the left side there. One down. There's our Orb of Power there. And there's our... Well, that should have been a second Orb of Power, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate back to the other side and get that orb. We can shoot it too. Oh look, shoot to loot. But not for the special ammo, which I find to be weird. Okay, so now we are Radiant. We have our Eyes of Guardian X6. Now we're chilling. Now we can just enjoy the gun. It'd be nice to have everything else. Oh, actually, you know what? We have our Phoenix Dodge back up as well. There we go. There's another orb right there with us. Let's go and help this guy out. He dodged away. Healing grenade. There's another orb right there. He's trying to get us, but we are healed, so we're okay. We're smoked as well. There's a lot of stuff there. Okay. Hellion killed him. I think the melee did a little bit too. There we go again. Oh, this might be a disaster. No, we're okay. Thank God teammate was right there. Thank you very much. Okay, so you see the loop basically. Throw the grenade if you have it up. If it spawns an orb of power, great. If it doesn't, or you don't have your grenade up, then go Hellion and play for Reaper to spawn that orb of power. Okay, I have spawned that orb of power, but then I got suppressed. It was actually a really, really good nade from him. Help our teammate. Maybe we can sneak in a cheeky heavy pull. Probably not. Let's see if that heals somebody. If that does. Yes. Excellent. Hellion go. Ricochet go. Let's go. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And we have an overshield there too. Perfect. Coming in on our left. As soon as around the corner, there they are. We have our 0.8 second time to kill down to 0.7. Maybe somebody in the middle too? Oh, they're getting the res. Okay. That was a preemptive. Oh my god, that actually worked. Alright, Hellion to proc Reaper. Let's see if we can find somebody in time before the condition deactivates. And we found him. 2 down. We also have Transcendence in the interest of memes or visual panache, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go Transcendent now. And we immediately die. This serves me right for showing off, I suppose. Still get a kill though. There we go. You're going to die from the Nova. When it works, when PvP works, it's just fun. Let's get some Hellion going here. Set up the next fight. Not sure left or right. Right it is. Hellion did his job there. And there it goes. I would have loved for that to be a weapon kill, but that's okay. And there we go. There's the game. The playstyle, the loop, the sort of momentum you can build by getting this build going is absolutely insane. With a good team that you can coordinate their positions and you can call out healing, you can spawn that orb of power pretty much all the time. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this build. I hope you go now into Crucible and enjoy it in Trials or Comp or whatever it is that you want to be doing with it. I wish you the very best of luck, the very best of health, and most importantly, go have fun before at least Bungie takes away the fun and changes Speaker's helm entirely. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Ascendant Nomad, and I'm your... Nope, not gonna say it. See you next time. Cheers.